Welcome everyone to the urban reality of Delhi's land pooling policy. It's taken 2 years since the Ministry of Urban Development or DDA notified the operational guidelines to implement land pooling for AAP or Aam Aadmi Party to notify 89 villages surrounding Delhi as urbanizable. Now, every time there's any movement on Delhi's land pooling, there's so much excitement amongst the colonizers or builders who hope to make the most of land parcels opening up. But is this excitement, as always, over the top? On the debate today, we will try and break down the hype surrounding Delhi land pooling and ask 3 key questions. Number 1, can DDA or Delhi Development Authority accomplish that huge task of land pooling in Delhi? You do know that so far DDA's track record has inspired very little confidence. The second question, lack of affordable land has always been cited as the reason for not having enough affordable homes. Now, can land pooling create an affordable housing stock of 25 lakh new units? And finally, Chief Minister of Delhi has expressed his ambition for Delhi to become India's financial capital, overtaking Mumbai. Can land pooling actually help that? Can Delhi overtake Mumbai as the financial capital? Joining us on this discussion, Dr. PSN Rao, Chairman, Delhi Urban Arts Commission, Dr. M. Ramachandran, former Urban Development Secretary, Ramesh Menon, Director, Certis Realty Limited, Amit Oberoi, National Director, Colliers International. Gentlemen, let's begin. Dr. Rao, let me first ask you that question. So, a lot of excitement. Are all hurdles behind us? Because now again we read that the papers are back with the new Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm happy that things have just started moving forward, but there are certainly many more steps that we need to take.
Okay.
Firstly, stamp duty exemption. There are 2 exemptions that need to be made. One has already been made. The second stamp duty exemption is yet to be made. That's number 1. Number 2 is that development areas need to be notified. That has not yet happened. We hope that it will happen in a couple of weeks' time.
All right.
And then number 3, in the Delhi Development Authority, they need to get their act together. They need to have a dedicated cell. They need to have trained staff. Because if you look at the whole model of land pooling in Delhi, DDA was actually the kind of a system that we had in Delhi was more of a centralized system. From a centralized system, you are completely moving away to a decentralized system,
right?
Where private players are going to play a role, where agricultural landlords are going to play a role. So you need to have a huge infrastructure within the Delhi Development Authority to manage the whole thing.
So let's come to the DDA point a little bit later, but you're saying you still have a couple of hurdles left in the LG's office.
Yeah.
So the ball is in the LG's court, right?
Yeah.
All right. Ramesh Menon, come in here. I remember speaking to you around the MCD elections, and you cited that, look, once these 89 villages which AAP is stalling are notified, DDA should be ready to operationalize it. Now we get to hear that despite the fact that Najib Jung had cleared everything, now the new LG has some new expectations, or let's say issues around the notifications.
Yeah, so, and very validly so, because, mere notification of 89 villages as urbanizable does not make land pooling viable immediately. There are legal hurdles, and then there are hurdles on the operational mechanism of land pooling to go forward. The one hurdle that I can think of immediately is the Delhi Land Reform Act 1954, which, unless amended or, removed, it will still be an obstacle for land pooling. Because remember, under that act, fragmentation of land below 8 acres is not permissible.
Correct.
What do you do when the average land holding is less than 1 hectare and there may be 4 or 5 stakeholders? It is not necessary for all of them to move together to pool their land to the land pooling agency. So that is one major hurdle.
Okay.
That needs to be removed by the Delhi government. The second hurdle is the last mile connectivity, which the DDA does not have, both in terms of man and method to go and implement this policy. So necessarily they will have to build a robust IT infrastructure, A, and secondly, they will have to have
So that's DDA's capabilities. We'll come to that, Ramesh. That's our second question. Let's just focus on what are the hurdles remaining for DDA to operationalize. Dr. Ramachandran, I'm going to come to you. 2 years lost already between the tussle between AAP and LG. And now you have a new LG in place. There's also a Delhi Land Reform 1954 Act which has to be modified. You also have stamp duty notifications which need to come out. So is this likely to take a lot more time than what everybody is expecting? That DDA should just roll up its sleeve and start calling the farmers in to pool their land?
On the basis of experience, what I would say is this has taken quite some time. I recall towards the end of 2019 also this process was initiated and it's still going on. And there have been critics who have been saying that whether DDA will be able to implement this policy because they are new to this and this is not an experience which they have. Unlike in states like Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh where land pooling has taken place and it has been implemented, Delhi is absolutely new to land pooling. So in addition to whatever the GNCTD has to do, whatever the ministry has to facilitate, whether DDA itself is totally willing and ready to implement this policy, that's something which we need to keep on observing. I'm a little lost because it's about 7-8 years one has been talking about this, particularly after the master plan was reviewed, and this land pooling discussion has been going on. And it's still going on, though there has been progress. Villages have been notified, but issues relating to stamp duty, preparing the maps as to what is the location of the land, these things still have to be in place so that one can start implementation.
All right. So I think then let's start answering those big three questions. Seems that, look, let's not get excited right now. There are still implementation issues or let's say operational issues, but DDA itself being ready to operationalize it, does it have the capability, Amit? Everybody in Delhi, you talk to anybody, will question DDA's capability. They can't get a small sector housing right, the right quality. There were 11,000 people who returned the housing stock that they had booked with DDA. So how do they do this task?
So Manisha, my biggest problem with the whole thing is we've got a plan. We do not have an implementation strategy.
Okay.
Right? If you look at the timelines and if you look at the way it has to be done, a lot of things will have to be done sequentially. Assuming that, let's say, they get all the applications in place, what DDA will have to do is to get the surveys done, get the legal due diligence done. What we are, I mean, I'm still grappling 89 villages, 25,000 hectares of land. That's like a new city in itself. And we are saying all this has to be done in 6 months. Doing a master plan for 25,000 hectare will take much more than 6 months. And then getting your temporary licenses and then your permanent licenses another 9 months, I am extremely skeptical about that happening.
So 2 years, is that a more likely timeline, Dr. Rao, which can be met, or are you even skeptical of that? Looking at what the point that Ramesh raised was that they have no IT infrastructure, even human capacity of the officers right now, the staff that DDA has. I believe today, if they have a meeting of 30 people, they're running helter to skelter. I mean, they really don't know how to hold a meeting of 30, 40 people outsiders.
See, the thing with the Delhi Development Authority is that it has been in existence for more than 50 years now. Recently, a committee was established to completely revamp the Delhi Development Authority. Now, what has happened to that committee report? What are the contents of that report and who is going to implement
that the ministry isn't even willing to talk about right now.
So therefore, there is a big issue there because we all know that there are many things happening in the DDA. Number two is that a large number of planners in the DDA have actually retired. So the young crop has to now come up, and you also need to recruit a large number of people. That recruitment has not been happening. So from the human resource point of view, you need to get in a large number of people, number one. Number two, the IT infrastructure, as Ramesh mentioned, you need to have a very robust IT infrastructure. Number three, the surveys have to be done, and you also have to superimpose the Shajara maps with the new plans and so on. So there's a lot of nitty-gritty that needs to be worked out. So all this is going to take a very long time.
What's your own estimate? Are you saying 2 years? Is 2 years a reasonable estimate to at least pool the land?
I don't think 2 years is a very
very ambitious target. All right, Ramesh Menon, I did cut you off because you moved to the DDA point, but yes, our largest big question is DDA up to the task? So there are human resource constraints. You said there are IT constraints. What is the kind of timeline do you think is a rational one to take for just 89 villages to bring the land in?
So in the event that we kind of establish a unified central command, 18 months to 24 months is a reasonable time, can be achieved. I beg to differ here that, you know, the master planning for the entire 25,000 hectares of residential land has to be completed in 6 months. It's not so. What the DDA has to do is to create and release the sector plan.
Okay.
These sectors wherein more than 60% of the land has been pooled, the DDA can move in and, micro-plan the sectors. But if you look at the zonal plans, the arterial road, the major roads, the alignment has more or less been frozen. So all one needs to do is receive these land. As far as the IT infra is concerned, if you look at the other large ticket reforms that have happened in India, largely if you look at, let's say, a GST, or passport services, or even driving license, etc. Once the IT infrastructure is in place and you have, people manning these posts, the rest of the things can fall in very, very fast. The challenge probably for DDA would be, to take their services to the people. Let's not forget we are talking about almost 20-odd lakh landowners.
Right.
So you cannot invite them to one place. So the suggestion once that I had made to DDA was to create, when you have these loan melas by the banks, they go to the people. So take DDA to the people, have these melas in clusters of 5 villages each, explain the policy to them, and all of it can be outsourced. It's not really that.
So we are saying, look, it's not possible in the current situation. Neither is DDA IT ready, nor does it have enough human resources. But just like smart cities, where SPVs are getting set and a lot of work is getting outsourced.
How did it happen in the case of Aadhaar? Right? We have almost 95% of the population.
That's an important point. But the big question, Dr. Ramachandran, very quick reaction from you. Are there any other concerns on DDA's front to be able to implement Delhi's land pooling before we take a break and come to the second big question of affordable housing?
No, I think there are only concerns whether they are really geared to implement a policy of this type, which they are not used to. And when we talk about personnel, the personnel seem to be doing 10 other things, and what is the type of prioritization the personnel will provide to this? So unless it is a program which is monitored very continuously and strictly from above, I have to say this, this is not going to take shape in the near future.
All right, so clearly that big report on whether DDA itself should exist as an authority is never going to see the daylight because it's got a big task ahead of it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and we're going to actually look at the possibility of land pooling creating an affordable housing stock of 25 lakh units. That's the number that we have for the citizens of Delhi. That's a big question. Can that happen, and how long will it take?